Now today I thought we would talk about some of the most influential multi-tools in the world, multi-tools that changed the multi-tool EDC knife carry world as we know it. And why not start at one of the oldest ones that I have in my collection, the oldest one. This is a replica of a 1800-year-old Roman multi-tool. Now, supposedly these are found in several parts of the world, something similar to this. This is a punch, like a leather punch, and nail cleaning tool and an ear tool. Then it comes with the knife. Then you can go ahead, move this, and you either have the fork or you have the spoon. Pretty clever tool. And this is made off of a replica that supposedly is in a museum. Now, I've heard lots of people when I did a video before on this debate about what these tools are, but that's per the replica's website that makes something similar to that. That's what they say these tools are. So I think that's fascinating that even years ago, in one of the great empires of the world, the Roman Empire, they designed multi-tools. And of course, they designed many things that even to this day, we don't necessarily even completely understand some of their roads and so forth. But pretty neat tool. And I think this starts us out with some of the ideas that men have had in the past about the usefulness of multi-tools. Now, fly through time about 1,000 years, over 1,000 years, and we come to 1897. And this is where I would say some of the advent of the modern multi-tool begins. There have been many iterations of tools with knives, but this is where there's this continuation, this tradition of a multi-tool. And in 1897, there's a Swiss officer's knife. It's patented. And from then on, Victorinox evolves into the company we see today that has so many tools and just a plethora of designs. And then even other companies we see just continue that tradition of making tools, multi-tools where a knife is central, and then there are many other tools. So that's pretty fascinating. There are so many really, really cool multi-tools made by Victorinox. Now, my favorite ones are the Spirit and the Swiss tool, but this embodies more of the older design, which, as you can see in this book, things haven't changed that much. This is the Victorinox Swiss Army Knives, a collector's companion. Now, I believe it wasn't until around World War II that Victorinox gained a huge traction in the American market. Before then, there were many other companies filling that gap. And one of the big stopgaps in that market was the Barnett multi-tool. Now, this was a pretty clever design. This is one of the first times that in America you see a plier head at the end. There's a hoof pick, there's a leather awl, the knife, and then at the end, this flat screwdriver. So a very minimalistic, think of this as a Leatherman skeletal of its day. It's a very lightweight tool. It's a little bit, not much heavier than a normal pocket knife, but it's got so much more capability on it as well. Even has what looks like a little wire cutter there in the bottom of these pliers. I really love this. I think there needs to be a modern version of the Barnett multi-tool. These were pretty popular. You still see these on eBay today. They were sold, there must have been a bunch of them sold to still be around that much years later. Pretty awesome tools that have stood the test of time. The Barnett definitely was another tool that marched on and advanced the multi-tool world to what it is today. Now, just about 20 years before Leatherman comes out with the PST, the Happy Angler arrives on the market somewhere around 1964 by ABC Bowerman and Company. This is one of the first times the world will see a folding multi-tool with both handles that fold around a set of pliers, also implements on the outside. Now, I'm sure there were probably a couple models where this happened before this tool, but this is one of the first, I would say, more mass-produced models where we see this pretty new concept. Usually most multi-tools stuck to this design where you had a handle come out the side and then you had the main body of the tool. So Song and many others will continue to make this type of design long after even Leatherman comes out with their PST. But this is one of the first times you get a look at more of the modern design element of how multi-tools will evolve. Pretty fascinating. This, to some extent, is even more modern in design than the PST, but almost like the first advent of a Leatherman Wave style multi-tool. So notice this tool is pretty uncomplicated. It's got a knife, it's got a fish scaler, bottle opener, then almost, I'm not sure if that's to stab the fish or a fork or what that is at the end. Then it has this, I think that's for the fishing weights, the lead weights to crimp them. It's got the cutter, and then these pliers with the serrations for the pliers there on the inside. Very narrow fishing set, an extremely lightweight tool, essentially almost like some very thin Victorinox combined together to create a very cool little tool. Here it is compared to this Victorinox. It is a fairly minimalist tool. Now, finally, in the early 1980s, Tim Leatherman will revolutionize the multi-tool world with the Leatherman PST. Now, this is a fantastic tool that is still a very valuable tool to this day. You can buy these on eBay and they're still very, very useful. There's even some modded parts that you can get for some of these at times. You got a very lightweight set of pliers, knife, all flat screwdrivers, the file, Phillips, the micro screwdriver, the can opener, bottle opener on this outside. Ruler markings, where you can clip it to your lanyard, the lanyard clip attachment there. So this will change the multi-tool world, the PST will, because bar some strange tools like this Happy Angler, a lot of the tools of the time will be very chunky. They will be very large. So the Leatherman PST will definitely change that, and it will bring slim, double-handled plier design to the market. And when I mean double-handled, I mean tools on each side of the handle. So that will be something that's very different. And then several years later, Leatherman will come out with the Wave. Now, over 10 years after the Leatherman PST is released, the Leatherman Wave will come out in 1998. Now, this is a very old example of the Leatherman Wave, probably a pretty early example. This has been loved and abused. I got this on eBay and it is actually so used that I can use this one-handed. To some extent, it's smoother maybe than a Leatherman Arc because it has really, been used a lot. But pliers, the wire cutters, crimpers at the bottom, and then Leatherman will, for the first generation, have a different set of tools where there's actually a little notch, and this notch will keep it from going too far back. Sort of an interesting design. They will later change that, but they rely on that instead of the frame stop. So the serrated blade, the saw on mine, the knife has almost disappeared because someone has used it extremely much. The serrated blade, and then the diamond file and the regular file. On the inside, there are lots of screwdrivers. And you'll notice that still there are a lot of flat drivers because this is a little bit of an older tool. There is a Phillips, but a flat screwdriver here, can opener, bottle opener. So on this side, there will still be a lot of flat screwdrivers, a pair of scissors. I think mine are broken, and then the screwdrivers have been used very, very heavily. This will be the next step in what eventually will become the modern multi-tool for Leatherman, and still to this day with the Leatherman Wave Alpha, not a whole bunch has changed. Actually, the Leatherman Wave Alpha, I feel like takes design cues from the original Leatherman and almost takes a step back, looking a little bit thinner than what we now see, or than what we now have as a third generation Leatherman Wave. Now, it's already been 3 years since Leatherman came up with what seems to be pretty much their idea of the ultimate multi-tool. It's got a hammer, pocket clip on the inside, these pliers, wire cutters, crimper. One of the things that sets this Leatherman apart is its magnetic architecture, where it's very fidget friendly. All the tools are on the outside and they're easy to access with just a flick of the finger. You can access these tools very easily. There's a screwdriver, bottle opener, micro driver, all wire, bender, stripper. There is the bit driver and the can opener. Those are on the inside of the outside handle. File, diamond file, regular file, scissors, saw, and of course the MagnaCut, which is the star of the show, the MagnaCut blade. Pretty neat, and all for around $250, which seems very expensive to a lot of people, and it even seems expensive to me, but it is a fantastic multi-tool that many people have come to love and enjoy. So Leatherman has come out with 3 fantastic tools that really move the needle of what is a multi-tool. So while we have seen huge stretches, hundreds of years go by where it seems like multi-tool development doesn't change that rapidly, in around 40 years, Leatherman has started with the PST. They've transitioned to the Leatherman Wave, gone through several generations, and ended up with the Leatherman Arc, which looks totally different than what they started out with in the 1980s. Pretty fantastic where we see multi-tools today. And every day as I'm researching for new multi-tools, there are exciting possibilities opening up. And I'm really excited to share with you some tools that I already have. And I can't wait to let you know how much better the multi-tool world is getting and will get even this year.